Hey, everybody. Welcome to Wild Wednesdays Live. My name is Adele Merrill, and I'm going to be your host. I am from Chocatour, and this is my first time hosting. I was scheduled to host just before I got sick in September, I believe. Anyway, let's do a roll call and find out what city you're watching from and what's the weather like. So I'm in Arizona and it's 84 degrees right now. And the low tonight is supposed to get somewhere in the 60s. So let's get on with the show. The next live in person shows will be in Boise, and that will be May 12th through the 14th. The next show will be in Salt Lake, May 19th through the 21st. Raylene, Beth, and I will not be at that show, but there will be a lot of great vendors that you can go shop with, and we encourage you to do so. The next show, we have like three in a row. The next show will be in Castle Rock, Colorado. I'm excited to go to that show myself. I'm excited for all of them. And that will be May 26th through the 28th. And remember, on those show dates, we will be live from the show floors on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 3 o'clock local time. So you have to figure out where we're at, figure out what time zone we're in, and figure out what time 3 o'clock is. But we'll remind you. Make sure if you are at any of the shows that Beth, Raylene, or I are at, that you come up to the booth and make sure you say, I get wild with you on Wednesdays. That's right. Thanks, Ron. Ron's behind the scenes making it all happen. And we will give you a special gift. Usually in my booth, it's something sweet. So there you go. Today's vendors are offering specials through Friday at midnight. Look for the website scrolling at the bottom of the screen when they are presenting. And hold all questions till the end of the show when we will bring all vendors back for a Q&A. If you ever miss a show, you can go to YouTube, and you can also hit the subscribe button on YouTube, and you can get notification of all the emails. But we're also here on Facebook, and you can catch them at any time on Facebook once we've gone live. So let's see. I'm looking at my list to see what else I'm supposed to say. Our first guest is a familiar person to all of us here, and she's the brains and the genius behind Wild Wednesdays Live, and that's Raylene from Quilters Haven. And she's going to be teaching us showing us how she makes rulers in her warehouse, or where is it, Raylene? Show us. Tell us.
Well, you're giving me an awful lot of credit because I don't know how much brains behind the. I did come up with the idea, but thankfully, as soon as I did, I got on the phone to Beth, and the two of our brains together make a really good Wild Wednesday brain. So
there you go.
But yeah, we're gonna give you a little behind the scenes here, if you're ready for that.
All right, show us what you got.
All right. Well, first of all, most of you guys know me from the shows over the many years as being the circle person. But of course, back in January, we did sell that portion of our business. The other side of the business is Justnotions, and when you see us at the show, that's the name that we go by. Our parent company name is Quilters Haven. So that's why the two names, just so you know. We do manufacture acrylic rulers and tools, not only all the different squares and stuff that you see us carrying to the shows or you see on our website, but we also manufacture for a lot of other shops and designers. And we thought it would be fun if we just kind of showed you how all that happens. So first thing I want to do before we get started, I just want to turn the camera around. And Ron showed me how to do this, so let's make sure I get this right here. Where do I go? Settings? Yeah, that didn't work. Camera? Hang on here. There we go. He's working on it. If it's got more than one step for me, I'm a mess. So this is our big work area. We actually work in a converted garage on our property. It's 750 square feet, so it was perfect. It allowed us to have our business at home without having to have the expense of renting a building on the outside. So if I walk over this way, you'll see there's our rack of all our different squares that we have ready for our online orders, and also there's all kinds of lotions and for online orders as well. Most of the time, when we're headed to the show, everything's packed up. But I mentioned to you guys before, we do have an Amazon store, and we usually leave that up just as long as we possibly can until we leave town. But I never want you guys looking for me on Amazon, because I've talked about Amazon before. You're normally going to pay more on Amazon because we have to pay seller fees, and we have to add that to the price. So it's always going to be cheaper for you to come directly through my website, Justnotions.com. So as I mentioned, we make stuff for a lot of other companies as well. So here's a couple of stacks and stuff that's being done. This is a really amazing binding tool that we make that the designer, Donnell, is actually going to be on the show in a few weeks showing that tool. You might have seen that on Facebook. She does a lot of Facebook advertising. And then we got this other stack right here for the familiar company. I don't know if you can see the name, but let's see if I put it down with something solid. Yes, these are some little things we're doing for fabric chicks. We've also got a big stack on the shelf back here for Big Mac Rotary. We do a lot of her items. So we make for lots of different companies. Our acrylic comes in these big sheets that you see underneath it here. We actually buy them as sorry, I'll try to talk louder. It's because all the machines are on pat, so it is loud in here. But we buy these sheets of acrylic in 4 by 8 foot sheets, just like a sheet of plywood. With the company we get it from, cut them down to be able to fit the beds of our laser machines. And we use every little piece of the acrylic. Like here you see some pieces lined up on the floor here. These are what was left after doing a bigger item, but then we take these pieces to make the smaller things. For instance, those little squares that we're making for Beth. We do a lot of the little 1x4 rulers that are our promotional items. We do those for shop hops and things. So every scrap of this acrylic that we can use, we do, which is how we're able to keep our prices down. And generally our prices are a little better than some of the other companies. And that's why, because we are very, very frugal about using those pieces. So anyway, so everything starts, just like everything these days, on computer. And before anything ever happens, Ron has to put the design in the computer. And we use a program called CorelDRAW. And as you can tell, this right here, when he's looking at it, everything is backwards. So they have to kind of learn how to read backwards. So right here, he's got a layout ready to go for a little square. And he's going to customize that. And we're actually going to, he's making some changes right now. So what he's going to do is send this over to our laser machines. Now, while he's doing that, I just want to show you, we actually have 4 of the big universal laser machines. You see them here along our back wall. And they require all of this ventilation. You notice each machine has ventilation out that has a fan hooked up to it. When the acrylic is cutting, it smells like someone is cooking meth. So we have to get that out of here so that everybody in the building's not high. And we've even heard stories of people that we know that do this, that it was venting out of their house. The neighbors called, the DEA kicked the door down to make sure that they weren't indeed processing meth. And the poor guy's like, no, I'm just cutting acrylic. So it is pretty nasty smell. So basically then what he does is he's going to send that information to one of our laser machines. So that's what he's doing right now. And then we're actually going to let you watch it run and how it actually engraves and then cuts. So I'm just waiting for him to get that sent to the machine. And then he's going to show you how he loads it up and gets it started. So bear with us a second. So he's now sent that information over to the laser machine. So now he's going to put that down on the bed of the machine, close the door, and then he's going to tell it right here on all these little controls on the front, he's going to tell it to get started. So the first thing that we do is the engraving. And that's one of the things that makes our tools really nice, is that we're not screen printing them onto the acrylic where it could eventually wear off. We are actually laser etching it into the acrylic so it can't rub off because it's etched in. So what happens is this little bar starts going back and forth very rapidly, putting in all the lines, all the numbers, all the engraving. So this process is going to take probably, would you say, about 5 minutes or so. So while it's doing that, I'm going to let you keep watching it, and eventually you'll get to where you can actually see the stuff. It takes several passes before you can see it. But I do want to mention that because we decided to show this week, our discount this week is that we are giving you 20% off of any custom items. So on my website, justnotions.com, if you click on customizable tools, that will show you everything that we make that we can put your name on. We normally charge a little fee for doing that, but from now till midnight Friday, any of the tools in that category, if you select those, we are not going to charge additional price for putting your name on. We can also put your phone number if you want, or your address, whatever. You can do up to 3 lines of text. But also, you're going to get 20% off. So you're not only saving the normal custom fee, but you're saving 20% off the items as well. And we can customize all of our square ups and all of our rulers. So, and there's a couple of other items in there we can do as well. Now, I know it's really hard to see, but you probably are starting to see up kind of in the upper left corner there where some printing is starting to come through. And I just saw Linda ABC's comment that she had to pull over to watch. Oh my gosh, you're funny, guys. And Mary B, I don't do the proofreading either. I let Ron and Curtis do all that. Half the time when I give them something that we need done, the first thing I hear is this really the way you wanted to spell this? So, and make no mistake, I do not make these. I don't know how to make them. I know how it's done, but I don't know all the ins and outs of programming everything, and I don't want to know. I don't need to know because I've got Ron to do that, and then our son Curtis works for us as well. So I always tell everybody that I make them, that I don't. Basically what happens is somebody will contact us and ask about, can we do this or that? I will usually say, yeah, sure, and then go ask Ron, can we do this? So he ends up just looking at me, shaking his head, and then he makes it happen. So as you, like I said, I know it's with the glare, it's a little hard to see, but you should be able to see some of the images starting to come through. As it's etching, it just goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And again, he's doing a small square just so it wouldn't take a real long time, but it does take about 5 minutes for the size that he did. Now, I also want to mention, because the question we get all the time is, can I use these on my long arm? No, these are not the 1/4 inch that you need for long arm. These are really just for your marking and cutting with your rotary cutter or marking along. They are only 1/8 inch long? Yeah, it's 1/8 inch thick, which is what we use for that. But if you are going to use them, you need tools for long arm, you want the 1/4 inch thick. And there are other companies out there that do that, including one of our Wild Wednesday vendors, Off the Wall Quilt, based out of Florida. And if you're looking for that thickness, you can actually, if you go to my website and click on Less Than Traditional, they are the company who bought that from us. So there is a link to their website. So if you're looking for the wider, I highly recommend that you check with them first, because they're a super good company, super nice people to deal with. And Mary, you know it, Mary. We are soul sisters for lots of reasons. Linda ABC says Ron is a rock star. Yes, he is. Be jealous, ladies. Be jealous. And he's got his trusty assistant with him right now. This is the head of quality control. This is Wade, who thinks he has to be in the middle of everything. And he just got groomed yesterday, so we can actually stand to be around him. He was smelling pretty bad. Weren't you, Pep? When it gets 95 degrees and you've got long curly hair, it's just not a good combination. So again, back to our ruler, or our square rather. Again, really faintly you should be able to see some of the information coming through. But while I'm going to walk away from that for just a minute and walk over here to the other side of the building. Here's our area where we do all the bagging. Whenever we're selling, we're doing this stuff for ourselves, we actually have to peel back price, to have for retail for the shows. So this is where all that happens. This is Ron's work area where he gets all that stuff ready. And there's another stack of products that we're working on. When we're running with Acrylic, it actually has paper on one side, and that stays on until we're done, and then that gets away. So a lot of times when you use stuff about it, if you're ordering several of the items, you're going to get a paper on it, and that's time to get it off. Your onesie stuff, you go ahead and get that back. Just give you an idea of something that's like, you have everything from our largest size right here. Doing that in just a couple of weeks. So this is my nest before the pretty the rest of the show. That's why I was coming in. And then, I mentioned earlier, we do stuff for other vendors. We do some big stacks of lemons right there that I'm going to go to Boise to go to bring that over to the cutting surface. And I always tell you guys whenever Teresa's on that I have her mats everywhere. You notice her mats on every surface we have in here. Even on my table over here. I always laugh about my ugly one. This is my ugly one. And she's always telling me I should replace it. But, I'm kind of fond of this one. It just gets beat up. This is my packing table. So anyway, we're going to go back to the machine. And I'm sorry, again, I know it's kind of hard to hear because we have all the machines running in here. So we're going to go back over here. And we notice that it looks like it is it done? Just about done with all the printing. Just about finished, and then we'll show you what happens next. And what happens next, you're going to be able to see a little bit better. So after it's done engraving, then we spray it and wipe it down because we'll get sometimes some little smear marks just from the heat of the laser, which comes right off. Then close the lid again, and now he's going to cut it out. So he's going to cut it all the way around on all four sides and also at the hang hole. So this actually goes really fast, and you're going to be able to see this a little bit better because you'll be able to see the laser actually cutting. I'm trying to stay out of Ron's way while he starts the machine. And he says, I'm not doing a very good job of staying out of his way. So there you go. Now you see that looks like a flame. That is the laser. And that is cutting it out. Okay. You guys follow that little laser. I'm going to try to get a little bit closer. So it's cutting it out. It goes all the way around the edge. The cutting actually happens really, really quickly. And now it's adding the little hang hole. And then it's going to go back to its home position. It beeps to tell us that it's done. And Ron's going to pull that out of the machine. And he's going to peel the paper off real quick so you'll be able to see it. You can get a hold of it. Usually we just use like a straight pin or something to kind of prick the edge. And he's peeling off the paper. Going to wipe it down one more time just to make sure it's all nice and neat and clean. And there is our square, and this one was made special for today's host, so Adele, to show that she gets wild on Wednesdays. So we will take that and give that to her when we see her in Boise. So, actually, I'm just going to hand you this. You can hold it for me. So basically, that's how it was done. I hope it was interesting. I guess we kind of take for granted it's not all that exciting to us because it's what we do every day, all day, 6 days a week. But hopefully, you learned a little bit. And again, our sale is 20% off and free to customize it through midnight on Friday. Just go to justnotions.com and click on customizable tools, and you'll find the items that we can do that for you. So thanks, guys, for watching, and we're going to let Adele take it back over.
Hey, Raylene, we lost you a little bit when you walked over to the rack.
I realized my mic kind of slipped down, so but I wasn't really saying anything of any importance. I was just killing time while the etching finished.
Well, thank you for cutting out a ruler for me. If I would have known that, I would have been watching really close.
There you go. I'll bring it to you in Boise.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Raylene, and we'll get back with you at the end of the show.
I will see you then. Thanks.
Okay. Next up, we have Linda from Geese, and she is going to be teaching us about zippers. Thursday is National Zipper Day. And Linda, are you there?
I'm here, ready to roll. How are you doing, Adele? Good to see you.
Good to see you. So you have a lot of zippers to show us, huh?
I have a couple of new things to show you about zippers, or it may be new to some of them. I've been playing with zippers for a long time, and I got so involved with them that I was steering away from playing with making clothes, which is what I originally started off doing in my business, teaching garment sewing. And I always had the feeling that you needed to wear something that you had made. And embroidery came along, and I finally realized that it's okay to purchase something from ready to wear and then add a little touch to it. And that way you feel like you've made it. So the vest that I'm wearing today is one that I purchased. I went in to do some Snoop shopping at Chico's, and on the sale rack was this vest. I put it on, it fit nice, and I went and added a zipper to the front. I don't have to zip up this zipper. The zipper was about 24 inches long, so I just put the zipper until it went all the way up to the top and stopped. I did have to do this by hand because of the fabric that I was working with and the embellishment that's on the front. But another thing about this vest, I wanted to copy what they've done for the embellishment on the front. And you could do that with a zipper. All you have to do is take a zipper and pull it apart and then overlap the edges and turn the point into a nice curve, stitch that down, and you can create the same sort of design on the front of your garment that happens to be on the front of this vest. I've been working with zippers pretty much 24 inches long, and they were separating zippers just because the bags that we were working with or the garments we were working with. But zipper by the yard is something that's been important to people, but it's also been a bit of a problem because it's kind of hard to put a slider on. I have 3 yards of zipper tape that has the little tab on the end like a closed-in zipper. And there's no stop here because this is yardage. And the reason I was excited about this little inch piece of tab is it is so much easier to put a slider on when you have that fabric, or zipper tape is what it's called, without the coil on it. So this particular line of zippers is with the zipper coil. It does have a metal finish for the zipper, so it could be brass, it could be silver, it could be gold. But there's several different finishes and a couple of different colors of zipper tape. I'm getting ready to do at the Reno show a class on denim. So I have brass, nickel, gold for those bags that we're going to be making in that particular class. There's also purple, and you can't have too much purple and gold in my area of the country. I mean, LSU, everybody needs to have purple and gold, and also Mardi Gras. There are a variety of pulls for you to work with, and some of them have a little hole in them, like a keyhole. Here's a gold, antique brass, silver. There's also gunmetal, or you can use the little rectangular pull. So you have choices of what you can add your um, to your zipper tape. And let's see if I can do this backwards. You're going to be moving forward. So the rounded part is the top, the square part is the bottom. So we're going to go forward onto the zipper tape. And zip it up. Oh, it's got a little hang. Wouldn't you know, you get online and it does something funky on you.
No worries.
I'm used to that. It does it in class all the time too. Well, it does work on most days. Here we go. So you just have to finagle with it and it zips right up. Now we sell the zipper tape in 3-yard lengths. And when you're using it, you want to make sure one of the ends maintains this inch part that doesn't have any zipper coil on it. So you will put the slider on all the way to the other end. You cut off what you need to work with, then put another slider on, because some people need a lot of sliders and some people need just a couple of sliders. We sell the sliders separate. So you can purchase the 3-yard lengths of the zipper and then however many sliders that you need individually. And you can mix and match. Now, when you order a slider, make sure you're ordering the slider that's appropriate for the zipper tape you have. This is a number 5. That's in zipper language. It's a number 5. The zipper coil is about 1/4 inch wide, and we're using a nylon coil. It looks like metal, but it's actually a nylon coil. The zipper that we started playing with years ago when we were making garments is a number 3. And it's about 1/8 of an inch wide. The number 5 is about 1/4 of an inch wide. And we do have extra pulls to go along with these. And I've started carrying some zippers that I have black and 80 inches long. It's like zipper by the yard, but you get this little tidbit on the end that really makes your life easier. And probably if I took this off and put it on again, it would go on better. It was just stuck because it hadn't been used yet. Now, one of the reasons I like to play with zippers is so that I can mix the colors. You can't go find a zipper that's blue and turquoise. However, you can purchase a turquoise zipper and a blue zipper as long as they're the same size and type and mix them together. So if the lime green is a little bit off and the pink is a little bit off, once you mix the colors, you don't notice that they don't match perfectly. So that's all the fun of playing with zippers. Now, another thing that I like to do is go ahead and take the slider off the end and put it back on, so that when I'm doing my stitching, the end is closed and this end is closed, and it's just easier. You have a prettier finish. Now, why do I like zippers so much? Because you can just do so much more playing with your bags or some of your other craft things. I mean, we have zippers that glow in the dark, zippers that look like camouflage. There's zippers with black and white teeth, and you can mix the colors. This one is a lime green mixed with the turquoise with the black and white teeth. And this looks like a flat kind of just sack, but the zipper is actually forming the shape of the bottom of the bag. So let's just zip it up. The bottom becomes square, so the zipper gave the bag its shape. The top part of the zipper up on this edge was used as trim. So you can use zipper as a corded piping if you want to. And it is, if you figure it out by the penny or the yard, it's it's a lot less inexpensive than some of the trims that you may purchase to do in your corded piping for other projects. Now, this is the zip to shape pattern. So it's easy to remember the name because you zip the bag up to form the shape. It's a multi-size pattern, and there is a secret pocket in the bottom of the bag. You can't get at it right now because it's on the last section of the zipping of the square. A pattern that I've really like to play with and have fun with is Taylor's bag, and I use that with a lot of the number 3 zippers. It was designed by a young girl. She was like 8 or 9 at the time. Now I think she's almost, if not a teenager. But we used this pattern to raise money for different. Well, it originally started off with the floods in South Louisiana. So every year we'll send a contribution from the sales of her pattern to probably the food bank or something else that's happening around our state that needs a little bit of assistance. So that's Taylor's pattern. Now, another bag that uses a fun zipper in a different sort of way, and this also, the zipper shapes the bag. You can see the zipper coming up the side here, but we unzip it and everything goes nice and flat. So it's great for storage in a suitcase or on the shelf. You can use zipper by the yard, or you can use a separating zipper to start this off. And I'm going to give you one little tip on putting this together. You will place one side of the zipper around the bottom of the bag, following the instructions in the pattern, and over to the side. This has vertical, then horizontal, then vertical again. This is the straight grain of the fabric, so it doesn't stretch much. The crosswise, because this is folded, isn't going to stretch too much, and it's stabilized with a piece of stabilizer. But the long piece over here is the crosswise grain of the fabric, and that could very easily stretch, and you think that you don't have enough zipper. So I recommend that you start your pinning at the bottom and pin a couple of inches, and then take the other end of the zipper and start at the end. And if it appears that you have less zipper than you need, you will ease it into the fabric to make sure this length of zipper is the same as the length going around the outside edge. So it's really easy bag to work with. You can do canvas, you can do double-faced quilted fabric like this one. The one behind me over to the side is canvas that was painted. It was dyed and then painted. And the zipper really just adds a nice little touch over to the side. You can put lots of wonderful pockets on the inside. Use it for a tote to go to sewing class. So when you put all your sewing things in it, open it up, and they're right there handy for you to use in class. Now, Taylor's bag. This is Taylor's bag. And because it's a smaller bag, you use a smaller zipper. But I like to use the 36-inch zippers. And we have a bunch of colors of 36-inch zippers, and we've put an extra fun little pull on them. And so depending upon the size you're working with, just put the sliders on and cut off the exact amount you need. There's 3 different sizes in the pattern, and you can, of course, after you've made one, it's very easy to adapt to other sizes. But if you bought a 7-inch zipper and you want a 9-inch bag, you're up a creek, you got to go shopping. If you're working with a long piece of zipper, then you just cut whatever length is necessary for you. Now, another thing about working with yardage, and this is, well, it was originally a stabilizer for placemats for a round table. So what I did was serge the edge all the way around. And then I took, I'm not sure the yardage, it's a little over a yard, it looks like. I'd have to measure it to see. And added the tape all the way around. It's one piece of zipper tape, and then put it together on the end and added a piece of fabric for a stop. When you zip this up, you have a nice clean finish on the end. You don't have two end pieces there. It's a nice curve. Now, this is one of the zipper techniques we'll be doing at the Reno show. I have a zipper class where we'll do 3 different projects. We're probably going to do about 5 different zippers, but 3 distinctively different zippers in that, so you can really get a good feel of how easy it is to put in zippers. This was designed as a cosmetic bag. Put your cosmetics in it, open it up. You have a clean surface for them. Now, you might want to use it. Little girls like to use it for their dolls, a place to play. You can just think of all sorts of ways you could use a little tote. We started a few years ago putting secret pockets in the bottom of our bags. So this is the turning point that you would normally turn the bag through the lining to finish your bag, and then you have to edge stitch that. But we put a zipper there and created a pocket with it so that you have a place for your mad money or an extra key to the house. It's a real easy zipper technique. And one of my students wrote me a note after taking the class and said that it's much easier to put the zipper in than it is to whip that closed or edge stitch it closed. So whether she has a pocket or not, she still uses her leftover zipper scraps to close the bottom of a bag. Now, this one is really visible, so anybody looking in your bag can see that there's a zipper there. So you might really consider that if you're trying to hide lots of money down there. Okay. Let's see here. I've taken a look at my patterns that I'm talking about today. One of them is called Zip to Shape. One of them is the Quick Zip Bag, and the other is Tailor's Bag. Every pattern that we have on our website that uses a zipper has the appropriate zipper technique for that particular bag. So it does give you lots of good information so that if you follow it step by step, you won't have any difficulty putting a zipper in. I had a little boy in my class one evening. He came with his grandmother, and he followed my instructions. And at the end of getting his zipper in, he was the first one to finish. 11-year-old boy beat out all these women who'd been sewing for years because they were fighting what I said to do. If you follow the instructions, it is real easy to put a zipper in. And I'll tell you the trick for a lapped zipper. There was never enough fabric in the seam allowance. When you're making a lap zipper in a project, before you cut it out, mark your pattern to allow 1 inch seam allowance. That gives you 3/8 of an inch of extra fabric to make it easier for the lap zipper technique to work. You don't have to worry about the fabric coming out along where the stop is and the slider up at the top. Okay, I think that has me taken care of. Well, Adele, before I go back to you, on our website, everything in the zipper category, and there's 75, 100 different things there, is 25% off. Make sure you use the code that's floating along the bottom now. It's ZIPS, ZIPS 25, and you will get 25% off everything from now until Friday midnight. Now, I'm heading out to Paducah tomorrow to go see that show. I'm excited to go there. And orders won't go out till Monday, but you still have plenty of time to take a look at the website, take a look at all the fun zippers. Some of them are yardage. Some of them are kits for some other bag patterns. All sorts of fun zippers. glow in the dark, camouflage, different colors of teeth. I don't do many metals. I do have a few rhinestones. I work more with coil now, but I do have some plastics, and they're all fun to play with. So I hope you enjoy playing with zippers. I look forward to seeing some of you at the Boise show. Later on in June is Quilt Show Reno. I'll be there with about 6 different hands-on classes, I believe. And then Oklahoma City is at the end of June. I'll be up at that show. That's close to home, so that's a drive. So I'll take lots more stuff there than I normally can fly out with at some of the other shows. So y'all have fun with your sewing and stay in touch. Thanks.
Right. Okay, there I am. Okay. So yeah, it was fun to see Ricky Timms was one of the judges, and Susan Cleveland were one of the judges out at Paducah. So make sure you give Ricky a big hug for me when you see him.
Okay, I will do that. I'm sure I'll see him there. And Susan as well.
Yeah, Susan Cleveland's a riot. I don't know if you've ever hung out with her, but she's
hysterical.
Oh
yeah. Susan, I know Susan well, yes.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much. I love that you can pick different colors of zippers, and I love the hidden pocket full of money. Who doesn't love a hidden pocket full of money, right?
Absolutely, yes.
All right. Thank you so much, and stay tuned. We're going to have a Q&A session at the end, okay?
Sounds great.
Thank you, Linda. All right. Our next guest we have been working to get back on. She needs a little help, so luckily Tony is there to help her today, and we are going to welcome back Connie from So Wonderful Dreams. There she is, Connie.
Hello to you all. It's so nice to have you join us on a Wednesday afternoon, and I've got about 12 minutes, and I'm going to give you about 50 minutes worth of information. But I think, Adele, tell me if this is right. They can see this broadcast over and over again, can't they?
Absolutely.
Right. So if you need a second run through, you have it. What we're going to talk about today is a 10-degree ruler. This one is US made, and it is 22.5 inches long. You can see that the numbers right down the middle. That would be the straight of the grain as well as the measurement. Also built in is your 1/4 inch seam allowance. The only mistake you can make in using a 10-degree ruler is not being on the straight of the grain. So when we cut our fabrics, we're going to make sure that that is on the straight of the grain. And why is it bright green, a lime alligator green? It's because the 2 hardest colors to see when you're cutting is white and black. So we've cut a little bit of that for you today, just so you can see how easy it is. You sort of have a glow edge. Hope you can see that. And we're going to just make table runners pretty much for today to show you. But if I have 3 fat quarters, a fat quarter is 18 by 22. If I have 3 fat quarters, I can make 2 of the table runners that I'm going to show you. And I'm going to just use fat 8s, and that would be 11 by 18. And one of the projects that we're going to make, I think, Tony, can you get that in there? That's one of the table runners that you can make, and we'll show you how to make them very quickly and very easily. We had a workshop in Cleveland a couple of weeks ago. We had 21 people in there, and quite a few newbies. Everyone finished in 1 hour and 30 minutes. So it's fast and it's fun. So I'm going to layer up my 3 fat 8s. Then I'm going to put my ruler. I'm right-handed, so I'm going to start to cut those wedges on the right-hand side. And my ruler is at the tip of the ruler is at the tip of the fabric. And I'm going to cut once, and that's garbage. And then it would be difficult for me to come on this side because I would be crossing over. So just one time, I pick the fabric up and flip it around. And now I'm going to cut very quickly the wedges that I need. If I'm cutting from the tip of the ruler, I'm going to be able to make 8 cuts on 3 fat 8s. So this is how we're going to do it. If you were left-handed, of course, you would start on the left-hand side and you would flip that around. So I'm not going to take the time to cut the rest of them, but you can see here's 3 different batches that we have. And a little tip for you, when you're making your table runners, don't divide out the fabrics, a pile of black and a pile of pink and a pile of turquoise. Leave them exactly like this. And then when you make your table runner, whichever color is on top is the next color that you need. So let me show you how we'll put those together. We cut for curve just now. So when I take a big end of the wedge and I lay it on top of another big end of the wedge and I stitch up and fold it out and continue to do that, that is going to give me my curve. When I've gone as many as I want to, there's 4 here. Here's one that we sewed up. There's 4. And then if we want to make the curve go the other way, we just put the big end on top of the little end and sew that. And now we're going the other way. So whether I do 4 before I make my turn, or whether I do 6 or 8, the next color that I need, if I leave them all stacked up, is going to be the color that I want. It will save you a lot of mistakes and a lot of time. This one, we sewed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we turned it and we went this way for another 8. So that's what 8 looks like, more of a curve. And this one, we did 12. So I took half of the wedges that I cut because I had 8 cuts and 3 pieces of fabric. So I had 24 wedges. Here's 12. And then we go the other way for 12. And when you get that sewed together, then you're just going to take your top. Here's my top. And if I had a piece of backing and a piece of batting, I would lay this right side down. I've kind of drawn it out for you here. Here's my backing and here's my batting. And now here's how I'm going to sew. You're looking here at the wrong side because it's the side you've just pieced. This is the right side of your backing and underneath that is your batting. And we're going to stitch in and stitch all the way around back to where we start. And then we stitch out and then we cut it out of our fabric so that when we turn it through our nice edge that we've left here, all of the edges will already be finished for us. And we won't have any hand sewing unless we choose to do the binding on, and put on binding. If you do binding after, your edge is already finished, but you might do it for looks. And that would be a bias binding. And it's much easier to sew a bias binding on a curve when the edge is already finished than it is to try to hold 3 pieces together to put that on. Now, we might also cut at wedges for straight edge. So when I put curves together like this, that's when I put big wedges together, that's going to give me a curve. But if I alternate those and I put a big end next to a little end, next to a big end, that is going to give me a straight edge. And when you know that you want to cut for a straight edge, so you know you're going to start your project and you want to cut some wedges that you're going to wind up having a straight wedge, all of your fabric is going to be the same length for the project, just like it was in making the curve, but it doesn't have to be the same width. So I could cut a piece like this, but when I turn it around, I could cut there, or when I turn it back around, I could cut here. So I can cut anywhere on the ruler that I want for a straight edge. And when a big end is next to a little end, that's going to give me a straight edge. Something fun that you can do is take those wedges, and I had 5 fabrics. I layered them up and I cut them, as you can see, the full length of the ruler. Now I'm going to go back this way. And I'm going to cut this. We want to be on the straight of the grain, so this is going to be garbage. That would be my first cut, and back and forth. And when I sew those together, it's going to look like this. Now that fabric I can cut up and make quilt blocks, or I could make a front of an apron, or on our Christmas fabric that we did. That's how we made that. Here's a project. That is a little stocking, and all we did is piece this and then cut it out. It's already done. Also, This is how to make a very fast placemat. So a ruler is $34, and that includes 2 patterns, a pattern for your table runners, a pattern for your placemat. This is for a square or rectangular table, and that is for a round table. You can take your scraps. There's something you can do with your scraps. Here's another project you can do with your scraps. And one of our projects, we cut, instead of having 11 inches of fabric that we cut when we showed you a few minutes ago, we had 13 inches. And we cut it not at the tip of the ruler, but we cut it on the set mark, that's 7. So what you see is that it's going to show more fabric the further down the ruler that you cut. And as you're cutting for those curves, it doesn't have to be that you start at the tip. You can do anywhere that you want to, and that will either show more fabric. The reason that we did it at the tip is because if you want it to be as curvy as it can be, you're going to start at the tip, and that will give you the greatest curve. This is the scraps that we had left from this one is what we did here. This is that same placemat. Just start in the middle and put your wedges on there, and in a few minutes you have a quick placemat. Here is a straight edge. You can see that a big end is next to a little end, even though none of those pieces are the same width, they are the same length. And so as we put a big end next to a little end, that's going to give us a straight edge. We can also do circles. And I'll just give you a little tip about the circles. We're not going into them very much, but something that you need to know, it's a 10-degree ruler, so it's always going to take 36 wedges to make that circle. And where you cut those wedges is going to make a difference on, let's see, I need a straight piece of fabric, Sonny. Here we go. So here is my fabric, and I want to make a circle, let's say. So I'm going to use the ruler, of course, to make the wedges. And there's always going to be a hole in the center. When you put your 36 wedges together, there's always going to be a hole in the center. How big is that hole going to be? Well, it depends on where you cut on the ruler. Here is a 1/4 inch down from the ruler. And so when I cut that on a 3 and turn it around and cut it on a 3 again, my hole in the center is going to be double the number that I cut on. So if I cut on a 3, then my hole is going to be 6. If I cut on a 4, then my hole in the middle is going to be 4. So we will include that information in with your 2 table runner patterns and your ruler. That, of course, includes shipping, and all the instructions are already in there. This is a special offer. It is not on our website. Tony's going to show you that our website is sowonderfuldreams.com. The number at the bottom is 208-667-6168. And you have until May 5th to order that ruler. The ruler is going to be shipped to you from Florida, and we will send you the patterns and all of the information that we showed you today. I hope that gave you a little glimpse into how easy it is to use a 10-degree ruler, and we hope to see you at the shows. Have a great day.
Hey, thanks, Connie. Ooh, get a little feedback there. Stay on with us till the end.
We'll do it.
Questions. Okay, so I'm just going to recap it real quickly. The door prizes. Quilters Haven has 2 winners that will be receiving the square up ruler with their name engraved on it. And McGee's is donating an assortment of zippers, which is a great prize. And then Connie is doing a 22.5-inch ruler with 2 patterns for a project. It's a $34 value. And just a reminder that you can only get these prizes if you are in the United States. And if you're in Hawaii, there may be a little extra shipping involved. Did I say that right? I think I did. Anyway, and we want to encourage you to get out to the shows, get out, support your vendors. And one more thing, Let's talk about the discounts that they're offering today. Most of them are good till Friday at midnight. Quilters Haven has 20% off everything in the customizable category on their website. You do not need a code for that. McGee's is offering 25% off anything in the zipper category on their website using the code ZIPS25. That's ZIPS 25. So Wonderful Dreams is offering for $34. You can order a ruler and the patterns, a one-time offer. It includes shipping. And shipping is a big deal. Shipping usually costs $10 to $12 depending on where you live, and $22 to Hawaii. This special offer has to be done by phone. And the number, she showed it to you there. I don't have it right now. But that is good till Cinco de Mayo, May 5th. All right. The secret word of the day is coming up. Just remember to please only type that in once. And if you come back to our page in about an hour, Raylene will have pulled the winners and with instructions and how to claim. If you're watching on YouTube and you win, Raylene will contact you in a private message. And the secret word of the day is zippers, because tomorrow's National Zipper Day. Why not? All right, let me see if I can get back on and let's do Q&A. Let's see if I... Sorry, I lost us there for a minute. Okay.
Adele, are you still on?
I am.
Okay. The telephone number for the ruler is 208-667-6168. They can only be ordered by phone. They're not online.
Right. Okay, if you have any questions, let's put them in the comments. And I think, Connie, you have a little echo going on. I think you have two devices going. Maybe. Okay, somebody's gonna have to help me with the questions here. Let me see. There were questions earlier. Let me see if I can find them.
I see a question. Does it matter which end of the tape you put the pull on? Is it the same either direction? On the coil, yes. Either way.
Here, let me pull it up on another screen and I'll add a little question. Sorry, everybody. Give me a second. There's feedback coming from somewhere.
I see a question for me.
Okay. I love it. Everybody asks their own question.
Yeah, someone asked how many things we can run at a time. We can put a whole sheet in the machine, and then depending on the size of the item, how many binding tools do we run at a time? Pass it around here.
What?
How many binding tools do we run at a time?
15.
Like, for example, the binding tool that we make for So Easy, we can do 15 at a time per machine. So if we've got going on all 4 machines, we can do 60 at a time.
Okay. Great. There were other questions. Let me find them.
Do you have two-way zipper pulls on it?
No, that would be a Linda question.
Oh, it just asks you.
Do you have two-way zipper pulls?
I think that's a question for Linda.
Yes, Linda.
I do have a couple of zippers that have two-way zippers that would open from the bottom as well as the top. They're purple. You can see them on the web there. I do have some extra pulls, but I have to know what size you're working with. Am I the one that's doing the echo? I didn't change anything.
I think it's on Connie's.
Usually the echo is if someone has more than one phone on at a time. One of them
We don't have any.
muted.
We don't have any additional.
I'm not sure where it's coming from. That's all right. We roll with it.
Okay.
Connie, I need to show you a vest.
All righty. Oh, awesome.
And here's
Did you just
another
finish
one.
that?
Pardon me?
Did you just finish that?
No, these are 20 years old.
Vintage.
Okay. Raylene, I have a couple questions.
Yes. Here, back in.
Can you use different color acrylics?
Well, we can, but we don't. And the reason is the way my acrylic comes in, I have to take a lot. So someone wants to make like one blue ruler, I have to buy like $2,500 worth of acrylic to make that one ruler. So we don't do that. We do the green because that's the best for quilting and sewing. And yeah, that's the answer. We can, but we don't.
Okay, I'm not sure if this is covered, but can you make a custom ruler size with our own line amount?
Okay, so I think the question is, can we do custom? Say, for instance, you come up with an idea, or maybe you cut something that you cut the same size all the time, and you'd like to have an acrylic ruler. Like, for example, we have a customer that does a lot of, I can't even think of the name of it now, but she uses a certain size of rectangle. So she had us make her that special size so she can layer and cut. We do that. However, you usually have to get in the back of the line because, we're so busy with our big orders, but we can do that as long as you're not in a big hurry. And a biggie, it cannot be a copy of someone else's tool. We will not violate someone's copyright. Even when a designer comes to us and asks us if we can make a tool for them, we are going to research first and make sure that it's not someone else's tool that they're copying. That's really important to us since we've been copied so many times over the years. We really watch that carefully.
Okay, if you have any more questions, put them in the comments right now. I can't scroll up for some reason to find any more comments. So. Okay, looks like the feedback's gone. Now I can't hear Raylene. It might have been Raylene. It was Raylene. You know what's going to happen. Well, I didn't have it up when I was monitoring, so now the questions are disappearing. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. Oh, Raylene, do you sell left-handed notions?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, okay. I do carry left-handed scissors. I don't stock a lot, but I can usually get if you need left-handed scissors. Really, that's about the only thing I know about. They make specific left and right hand. But if you're looking for something left-handed, you can just email me through the website, and I'll let you know if I can get it for you, how much it is, how long it will take, all that good stuff. As far as the rulers and tools, occasionally someone will ask for left-handed. If Ron has time, he can kind of reverse the numbers on them for you. And one other thing I do want to mention is because we kind of decided to do this last minute. When you order, if you decide to order a custom tool, it's not going to show the sale price when you order it, but don't worry. Before we run your card, we will take off 20%. We just didn't have time to get that up on our website when we decided to do it. So, but fear not, you'll still get the discount because just because you input your card when you order, it doesn't charge your card until we charge it. So no worries.
Okay, somebody wants to know if you'll make a no ruler.
That Rondi for your room.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. Yes.
It looks, since you can't see the scroll, several people were asking about the word. The word is zippers.
Yes.
Not or it's zipper singular, right?
Either one will work.
Okay, but the zip 25 is the discount on my website.
Yes, that's correct.
I mean, there was a question there. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I was trying to help you out. You did great. You were complimented to doing your initiation. You passed.
Okay. Good deal. All right. Well, that's it for us. Thank you guys for being such great guests. And everybody go to the shows. Support your vendors.
Thank you very much. See you later.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.